Update: my depressed brother attempted suicide after our aunt pushed him to do it. I'm afraid I was too late to save him. My aunt ended up arriving at the hospital soon after and I absolutely exploded on her, calling her a K-year and a heartless beach. I drew the attention of everyone around me as things started seriously escalating. With my temper reaching such a point I almost swung at her before being restrained by one of the male staff. I told her to get the F out but she screamed back at me and was the legal guardian and had a right to be there. I was told the same thing by the hospital staff despite me telling them countless times what happened and how this woman was extremely dangerous to my brother. Eventually, however, she was allowed to stay and me and her both sat in the waiting room far apart from each other and not talking. After what seemed like a lifetime, a doctor came back and told us the news. He began by saying that life is precious and we should cherish it. The fact that my brother survived is nothing short of a miracle. I ran over to hug the doctor who hugged me back. My aunt showed no emotion whatsoever, asking what's going to happen to him and asking if she could see him. The doctor explained he was going to be on N4 as he is in truly awful condition but he should make a steady recovery if allowed to rest for a while. The doctor then told us both the location of the room that he was in. And when he did that I knew this wouldn't end well. My aunt asked if she could visit him but was told no as he needed to rest. I desperately begged the doctors not to let her visit him, but the doctor told me there was nothing they could do as she was the legal guardian and there was no proof that she was a danger to my brother. My story was not viable enough for proof. I wanted to get mad, but I refused to do so. It didn't help that my aunt now decided to start showing emotion, breaking down and crying crocodile tears, selling a story about how much she loves my brother, which seemed to work. Even I was impressed with her acting. She is a narcissist all the way to her core. A day after I was allowed to visit my brother and I stayed there for hours sitting on his bed and reading him books, watching shows with him and so on. When my aunt came in I kept an eye out on what she was doing as I deemed her to be very unsafe. I promised myself that when she was in this room I would be too in order to protect my brother. Then tragedy happened. It was on the second full day in the hospital that my brother went into an unprecedented coma. The doctors and nurses freaked out and hooked him up on life support. They told us his chances are still high, however in this coma is one he should wake up from in a few days max, which gave me some hope. I cannot lie, however, hearing this news did break me a little, and the next few days were the hardest of my life. However, it was on day 4 that things took a turn for the absolute worst. I thought my aunt had gone home as it was getting late and she left the room about 2 hours ago, and so I went up to use the bathroom. A few minutes later I came back in and was greeted with the sight of my aunt in the room. She was attempting to unplug the life support of my brother. I ran and lunged at her, managing to stop her just in time and causing commotion. I yelled out for the doctors and screamed at the top of my lungs while straddling her on the ground, and when the doctors finally came they pulled me off her. I tried to explain what happened but she instantly went into a rant about how I attacked her unprovoked. After hearing my side, however, the doctor became extremely concerned and ordered 2 security guards to stay in the room with us. He then left. An hour later 2 police officers showed up and took both my aunt and I where we gave our statements. She tried to lie and stuck to her story, but the police officers told her they had seen the camera footage in the room which clearly showed her attempting to unplug the life support. They arrested her and took her away. That was yesterday, and my brother is still in a coma now, and my aunt seems to be currently awaiting trial.